Right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, how to feel free in your marriage. This is Independence Day when this is coming out, 4th of July. So I thought this was a appropriate topic. My name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach, and I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some weekly wins from guys in our program, Strong Men, Strong Marriages. So guys are having increased feelings of love and gratitude towards their wives. It's one of the big things we work on. It's that the way that we feel towards our wives gets picked up, and that's attractive or not. So if you're resentful and feeling trapped in your marriage, okay, that's not very attractive. She's not going to want to be around that. So guys are shifting that. And what happens usually is when we're able to feel that towards others, they reciprocate, right? So guys are also getting that back. Expressions of love and gratitude. Wives are saying how grateful they are and how much they love their husbands. Guys are ending separations. They're feeling strong after their wife's infidelity, rebuilding connection. So for me, we're on a family vacation this week, and it's awesome just to have that time together with as a family. So, what are you trying now, though? So right now, what makes you feel trapped and not free in your marriage? So one of the big things is trying to make your wife happy. Okay, you have that mantra, happy wife, happy life. So maybe you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of the kids, you're providing for the family. You feel like you're kind of doing more than your fair share around the house, but it's all in the name of trying to keep your wife happy. The other thing that you're probably doing is walking on eggshells because if your mantra is happy wife, happy life, you can't risk upsetting your wife because that doesn't make her happy. And so you being able to say something that might upset her is almost impossible. Okay, that's what makes you walk on eggshells. um, the other thing you try to do when happy wife happy life is your mantra, and again what creates this trapped feeling, is saying yes to too many things. Whenever your wife asks, you feel like you have to do it. You don't feel like you can say no. Last week's episode was about that. So you start feeling overwhelmed, right? You start feeling resentful. Usually you don't ask for what you want because you're worried that might inconvenience your wife. Again, that doesn't equate, right? You kind of think, well, I have to make my wife happy. I can't really ask her to do anything, especially something that might be inconvenient for her. So you just don't. Okay. But again, that leads to you feeling trapped, feeling like the marriage is unfair, feeling resentful. Okay. So maybe you start shutting down your hobbies because you want to be at home more. You think, well, I got to make my wife happy. That means being here all the time. That means not spending time with friends, but spending time with my family instead. Okay, I went through this same track. A lot of the guys I work with, they go through this same track. And guys, they'll take losses with the big issues that come up in marriage. So there are things like money, sex, in-laws, parenting, religion, housework, and time. Guys will kind of let their wife have her way and not really stand up for themselves. Because again, they have that mindset of happy wife, happy life. And so they're like, well, I guess she can spend whatever she wants, or I guess we'll never have sex and I'll just deal with it. Or, with the in-laws, I guess we'll just spend more time with hers or not spend time with mine. Or I guess we'll just do parenting her way. Or I guess we'll just go to the church she wants to. Or if she doesn't want to go to church, I guess I won't go to church. I hear that one a decent amount. Or with housework, I guess I'll just do all of it, right? Or with time, she can do whatever she wants, but I won't take any free time for myself. So if that sounds familiar, you're not alone, first of all. But also, this is what keeps you feeling trapped in your marriage. The tyranny of happy wife, happy life. It just does not work. So, but why do we do all this? For one, we want to kind of look like a good husband, and in some ways, serving your wife, it is being a good husband. But behind this is a couple things. One is kind of fear, right? You're not being strong, you're not being courageous, you're not standing up for yourself. But the other part is that happy wife, happy life, second part of happy wife, happy life. So you're hoping that at some point, your wife's going to return that favor. She's going to look at all the things you're doing and finally appreciate it and give you attention and sex and all the things you want for being such a good husband. Okay? Because you're thinking to yourself, man, isn't that the formula? Happy wife, happy life. If I try to make my wife happy, isn't it her job then to try to make me happy, right? Isn't that the formula? Aren't women attracted to men who do whatever they want, who always say yes to everything that their wife says? Isn't that what women want? Okay, a lot of women say that, but it's not necessarily what they're attracted to. So that's the sad part about all this. But now that you know the truth can set you free, right? We're talking about being free. So when you're in this happy wife, happy life mindset, You feel like the perfect husband, but she doesn't recognize it. Okay. You feel like you're doing everything right, right? You are the ideal husband, doing everything, making the money, taking care of the kids, doing everything, doing the 5 love languages, trying to make your wife happy, sending her notes, but she's still not attracted to you. And so it's so frustrating. You feel so trapped and you feel not free in your marriage. And what makes it even harder is that other women seem to appreciate it. Maybe your wife's friends say stuff like, "Oh, you're a great husband. I wish I had a guy like that." My wife's friends used to say stuff like that, or therapists would say stuff like that. And so, you feel like, man, other women can see it, but my wife can't. This just isn't fair, right? And so you're like, man, it would probably be easier with somebody else. But then you feel, because of your religious beliefs, you can't leave the marriage. You don't want to cheat. You don't want to get divorced. But here you are doing everything to make your wife happy, and she won't do anything for you. Okay. So, I used to go to my car just screaming because I felt so trapped in my marriage. I couldn't, um, this happy wife, happy life thing, it is a nightmare. It really keeps you in a rough, impossible position. Okay. So, what this really is what we talked about, the mosquito cycle, right? Where you're doing all this nice stuff for your wife, but you're expecting attention, appreciation, affection, and sex back, okay, for doing those nice things, okay, without necessarily ever asking your wife for any of that or what you want, right? So, you do all this nice stuff. Other people seem to see it. Your wife doesn't. You start getting frustrated because you're like, man, other people can see it. My wife won't. Then you either explode, right? You get mad at her. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm doing so much for you. Or you escape, you turn to pornography, drugs, maybe you have an affair. Um, maybe you're just escaping into work or whatever. And then you feel guilty after you start doing nice things again. So that's that mosquito cycle, right? Feeling like she owes you attention, appreciation, affection, sex, but she's not giving it to you. So it's unfair, but you can't leave the marriage. So again, that's that trapped feeling. Okay. So here's why this whole thing doesn't work, right? Women, they're not attracted to yes men. They're not. Okay. The women, they're not attracted to a man who feels trapped into being married to her. Okay. If you're feeling like, man, I'm stuck in this marriage, I can't get out of it. Okay. Your wife doesn't want to, she's not attracted to that mindset. She's not attracted to a guy who's resenting her all the time. This is one of the big things I have to explain to the guys that come in, and is, they come in, they're like, yeah, my wife won't do anything and I can't stand it. And just help point out to them, hey, you're really resentful towards your wife. Do you think she wants to spend time with you with someone who resents her? Oh, I guess not. Yeah, probably not. So the other thing though, and the freedom, right? The freedom that comes is realizing it's actually not possible to make your wife happy. Happy wife, happy life. It's a lie. You cannot make your wife be happy. Okay. You can't. Okay. You can't get what you want without asking for it effectively. And you might say, well, Mike, I've told her I want to have sex, right? And you probably have, but you haven't done it in an effective way, and you haven't built up the other pillars that need to be there: trust, mental and emotional connection. And then, like, you probably haven't brought sex up in a way that's very attractive to her. So you got to learn all that stuff, okay, before you just jump into, oh, let's have sex. All right. So, how do you feel free? Freedom comes from, number one, realizing you can't make your wife happy. Okay. You are not responsible for your wife's emotions. When I heard that the first time, I felt like I had been let out of jail, right? You are not responsible for emotions. You just are not. Okay. And you've heard it a lot growing up. Oh, he makes me mad. Or your mom said, don't hurt their feelings. Okay. Their emotions are their responsibility. Okay. What you are responsible though for is acting in ways that you can be proud of. Okay. And that's something you can control. You cannot control your wife's emotions. You can control and act in ways that are strong and attractive and that you can be proud of. Okay. When I first heard, you're not responsible for your wife's emotions, I kind of thought, well, I should just be a jerk to her. Or, it doesn't matter if I'm nice to her, which that's not attractive either. Okay. But, it's not attractive to bow down and like try to make her happy and never make her upset, right? That's not attractive. It's also not attractive to be like, I don't care about you. I'm going to do whatever I want, right? That's not that attractive either. What is attractive is being kind because you want to be kind, right? Acting in ways that you can be proud of. The other part of that, though, because a lot of guys say, okay, I get it, Mike. Yeah, I need to serve her without anything back. But then they feel trapped again because they're like, well, how do I ever get anything I want? So what you need to be able to do is have courage, right? Be able to express the things that you think, feel, and want. instead of walking on eggshells. Okay, that's freedom. Being able to really say what you think and feel. Like with money, hey, I don't really like how much we're spending. With the way housework is, hey, it doesn't seem fair to me right now. Let's work something else out. Okay, that's freedom. Not being so stressed out about her response or thinking, oh, if I do this, she's not going to have sex with me. She's already not. And so you're not going to make it worse. Okay. And actually, it's more attractive and it's going to create something better for you. So the other thing is letting your wife have her own emotions without taking them on yourself. A lot of times guys will think like all of her emotional reactions are about you. You know, she comes home, she's having a bad day, you think, oh, what did I do wrong? A lot of times it's not about you. Something else happened. So just realizing, hey, she's got her emotions, that's her responsibility. Do I want to be kind? Do I want to be helpful? Yes. Is her Are emotions my job? No. Am I just as important as her to be able to express what I want? Yes. Okay, that's a big one for guys to understand. What you want is just as important as what she wants. Again, this is what creates freedom in the marriage instead of this trapped feeling. So freedom, it's really from a healthy separation between you and your wife. Okay, you're each responsible for your own emotions. Okay, you're also both responsible for acting in ways that you can be proud of. And look, you don't always have to say, oh, like, yeah, my wife's always right. She's not always right, just like you're not always right. It's fine for you to speak up and say, hey, that action or that process, that wasn't right. That wasn't good. Watch any romantic comedy movie. What you'll find is that the girl is attracted to the guy who will stand up to her, who will call out things that are not appropriate, who will stand up for himself, who will ask for what he wants. Okay. If you find a movie where there is sort of like this yes man character, oh yeah, I love you, anything you want, that's fine. The girl kind of thinks, oh, I should like that guy, but I don't. And she ends up liking the guy that challenges her. Okay. Okay. That's strong, that stands up for himself. Okay. So don't be that guy that, the friend zone. Don't get friend zoned by your wife. Right. Should make that a title of the next podcast. But, so again, coming back to like why this healthy separation works, you're both entitled to your own opinions and your own emotional responses. Okay. So, but really real freedom and intimacy comes when you're willing to be known. Okay. And that you're open enough to know the other person. Okay. You make it easier for them to share themselves. Okay. And so you might be saying, well, my wife needs to make it easy to share myself. And that's what a lot of therapy will say. Oh, you got to validate each other's feelings. But if you're waiting for that forever, you'll never express anything, right? You'll never tell her what you're actually thinking or feeling. So what you have to do is you have to step into courage and strength instead of fear. Okay. And when you can do that, you are free, right? When you're not trying to control her emotional reaction, you are free. Okay. So when you base your decisions not on what your wife will or won't do, but on who you want to be, you are free. That's where freedom comes from, guys. And you can 100% get there. But to get there, there are some skills you need to build. So self-esteem, you got to understand, hey, what I want is just as important as what she wants. That's the biggest thing. What's important to me is just as important as what's important to her. Okay, equally important. A lot of times we're trying to borrow our self-worth from our wife, and that's where we get into trouble, right? We're trying to have her build us up with attention, appreciation, and affection. Okay? So when she pulls it away, we start feeling bad about ourselves. Instead, if we can already feel good about ourselves, we don't need her to build us up as much. Counterintuitively, that's when she starts giving us more attention, appreciation, and affection. We also need to develop some healthy mental boundaries. So, look, your wife might right now be saying some things that are rude or that are untrue. You need to be able to filter out what's useful and what's not. Okay, you gotta learn how to do that. That's mental strength. You need to have communication skills. You need to be able to express yourself clearly. You need to be able to understand her well. Okay, it's that balance. Seek first to understand, try to understand her. Seek to be understood, express yourself clearly. Then get to that win-win, right? Take some practice, take some coaching. And then you need that ability to bring fun and flirting to the marriage. Because look, even when you have mental emotional connection, things are good. Taking it that next step, introducing fun and flirting and passion, it is a different skill set. And it's one you have to develop, right? Or remember if you had it at some point. So in Strong Men, Strong Marriages, you're going to learn all of this. We go through it. We go step by step to build each of these things, build these skills. You practice them, you get feedback. You're going to be great at this. You're going to be free. Okay. Freedom and strength they go together. Courage, right? It goes together. Facing the fear and still doing it, right? That's freedom. Living in fear, that's not freedom. Okay. Fear of your wife's emotional responses, fear of, not ever getting what you want in the marriage, fear of, fear will keep you trapped. Resentment will keep you trapped. Freedom to express yourself, ask for what you want, have that healthy separation. That's what you're going for. Courage over fear. Okay. So if you're going to learn how to do all that, build your self-worth, build your communication skills, build those healthy boundaries, learn how to ask for what you want, get what you want, create a win-win marriage, bring fun, flirting, and passion back, set a great example for generations to follow. So come join us. We're going to do that together in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. So come apply to join at strongmenstrongmarriages.com. Also, if you missed the chance to join in April, like if you've been on the email list for a while, you had a chance to join in April. If you're new to it, I kind of give you one more chance in between to join. But look, if you've missed it, your next chance to join is at the end of July. So in just a couple weeks here. So if you're not on the email list right now, jump on it. If you're ready to start right now, just come do an application, right? Take the step. But if you visit strongmenstrongmarriages.com, you just want to start with the email list, you can do that. But if you're ready to just join, let's rock and roll. All right. So stay strong, men. Visit strongmenstrongmarriages.com. There's also a link in the show notes. And we will see you next episode.